History of the Ramayana. The Ramayana has been performed throughout India and Southeast Asia for at least 2,000 years. The earliest written text dates back to 400 AD and was written by the poet Valmiki, who brought together stories, songs, and prayers connected to Rama and Sita. Vinay Lal, a professor of history at UCLA, wrote, "The Ramayana belongs to a class of literature known in Sanskrit as kavya, or poetry, though in the West it is considered to belong to the category of literature familiar to readers of Homer, namely the epic. It is one of two epics, the other being the Mahabharata, which have had a decisive influence in shaping the nature of Indian civilization. The Ramayana existed in the oral tradition perhaps as far back as 1500 BC, but the 4th century BC is generally accepted as the date of its composition in Sanskrit by Valmiki. History background of the Ramayana. According to scholars, the entire Ramayana is not the product of one hand. Their investigations have demonstrated that apart from minor interpolations in other portions, the 1st and 7th books were definitively added afterwards. For here occur statements in conflict with these in latter books, and Rama is transformed into an incarnation of the universal God, Vishnu, whereas in the original poem, he is merely a human hero. This process of deification must have taken some time, and it may even be the genuine and spurious parts are divided by centuries. Now, to what period are we to assign the epic kernel itself? There can be no doubt from the insertion of the Kamukina in the 3rd book of the Mahabharata that the poem of Valmiki must have been generally known as an old work before the Mahabharata assumed a coherent form. Besides, it is significant that the Ramayana does not refer to Pataliputra, founded by Udayin. The capital of Kosala is still called Ayodhya, not Saketa, which was its name in Buddhist and other later books. Buddha is mentioned only once, and that too perhaps in an interpolated verse, and the political conditions indicate the paternal rule of kings, exercising sway over small states. A consideration of all these and other points has led Dr. MacDonald to suppose that the kernel of the Ramayana was composed before 500 BC, while the more recent portions were probably not added till the 2nd century BC and later.